Okay. Let me see. Okay, go ahead, William. Yeah.
Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, that's right. Let's see where we stop. Let me see. I should do the bookmark somewhere. But anyway. So this one we done, right? This is only have 60, and we read about the great Prana Sutra, and the state of the flower Dhamma Sutra is not something that you can conceptually conceptualize. You cannot conceive. Okay, did we read this thing yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah, appear the pair of the you, right? Yeah, we did. In the 10th dynasty.
Yeah, I don't think we've read that chapter yet.
Okay, we can do it. Go ahead.
In the Tang dynasty, when Dharma master Shikshananda had finished translating the Flower Adornment Sutra, national master San Shao proceeded to lecture it. The translation was begun in the first year of the Chengsheng reign period, the 11th day of the 3rd month, and took until the 2nd year of the Shengli reign period, the 8th day of the 10th month to complete. Right after the translation of the sutra had begun, the Empress Wu Tsai-Tian, who was probably not far removed in time from the 6th patriarch, had a dream. In the dream, in heaven and on earth, throughout the entire universe, there fell sweet dew, no place being without it. This made her very happy, and so she encouraged Dharma Master Shikshananda to translate the sutra. He translated the present sutra in 80 rolls, 81 rolls if one counts the chapter of the conduct and vows of universal worthy Bodhisattva, and 39 chapters. After the translation of the sutra had begun, as it turned out, rain fell, and all the rain was sweet. That was an auspicious portent.
Very good.
So here it's just talking about the translation of the Flower Adornment Sutra during the Tang Dynasty. Shikshananda is the one who translated it at the urgings of Empress Wu Tsai-Tian because of this auspicious dream she had where the entire universe, there was sweet dew all over it. And he started it on the 11th day of the 3rd month. Then it was lectured. Sorry. It was, the translation was started. Yeah. In the 11th day of the 3rd month. So March the 11th. And it wasn't finished until the October the 8th. And then after it had been translated, it was Master Sen Shao is the one who lectured it. And that, and then the last piece is when the translation had begun, there was this like sweet rain that fell all over as an auspicious sign.
That is a very wonderful, excellent appearance. And you see that the translation come from Dhamma Master Sananda, right? That is the translation part. The national master Xian Shao is the one who do the lecture. This is called the transmission. So you understand the translation and transmission?
Yes.
They're two different things, right?
Yeah.
And so both it's important. They are both. They have the two role of those things are very important. Without translation, there is no transmission. And you will see that in this one right here, during the Empress Wu Shan, that is 80 row, that means 39 chapter, right? Have been translated. In here, it's only 60 row, remember? Before that, only 60 row been translated. So this is the second translation of the Adornment Flower Sutra. Okay. 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 All right. Tell me.
After the sutra had been translated, National Master Husan So began to lecture it at Buddha's Bestowal of Predictions Monastery. The lecture series began on the 15th day of the 10th month. On the evening of the 12th day of the 12th month, the sutra had been lectured as far as the seas of world systems of the flower treasury to where the earth quakes. Right then, there was an earthquake. At that exact time, the monastery all of a sudden experienced an earthquake and everything shook. On that occasion, there were several thousand people, both left home and laypersons, who had assembled there to listen to the sutra, all of whom felt the earthquake. There had never been anything like that before, but it happened, and so they called it obtaining what had never before existed. Thereupon, Dharma Master Shikasanda, although with a Vana master of the time named Minchin and another Dharma master named we composed an account of the earthquake and sent it to Wu Tas Ten. When Wu Tas Ten in her own hand penned her remarked, she said, "Before you even wrote your account, I had already seen it. For at that time of lecturing the sutra, when this secret hidden dharma was being propagated in a dream, I had already seen the sweet dew portent, the omen of the heavens universally raining down sweet dew. And now that the lecturing of the sutra has begun, for the earth to quake in 6 ways is truly an inconceivable kind of state. This event should be broadcast throughout the world, and everyone in the world should be informed about the auspicious occurrence."
Okay. So what do we understand from here?
So after the sutra had been translated, sounds like it took 2 months because it was the 15th day of the 10th month until the 12th day of the 12th month. After the sutra was lectured, then there was an earthquake, and there had never been an earthquake before, but everybody there played witness to it. And when they reported it, they said that they already knew it was going to happen because it had came in a dream that this was going to happen. And they said that it should be known throughout the world that this occurred.
William, do you know what the earthquake mean?
I mean, it seems symbolic. It's they mention it in the Lotus Sutra too, when the Buddha begins to expound the Lotus Sutra, that the earth quakes in 6 different ways. And to me, if someone is learning one of these lofty dharmas, it's transformational for their the way the world appears. So the way that their mind is already like set up, their thinking mind, it is it's a big transformation. And much like an earthquake could cause a transformation to the land, So that's what I think about, is it's like the teachings change the way that we see the world.
Basically the earthquake in here, I remember one time I read the one of the sutra they call the compassion, the sutra of compassion, right? And the first time I read it, oh, I heard it from the one who recite that one directly from the sutra, not the lecture, but that is the exact text from the sutra. When I heard it, and that my whole physical body is really shaking, and it's shaking so strongly. So when I continue on listen a few more times, each time it happened like that. So I think it I heard maybe 6 or 7 times, and the first few times when when I come back and listen to the sutra again, each time I have the same experience, just like the earthquake. Earthquake, that means it's shaking our mind. That it just help us to be awake from the maybe the word suffering or ignorance. So in that sutra, what does that mean? The Buddha teaching about what? In the one of the former life of the Sakyamuni Buddha, he was the one that who encouraged all being. That means nowadays most of the Bodhisattva and also the Buddha already attend to generate the bodhicitta and make vow to practice the bodhisattva path, and also choose the Buddha land that they want to establish, right? So depend on their vow. So that how and most of them make the vow. Every one of the we call the bodhisattva at that time, every one of them make vow, depend on their interest and depend on the interest of practice, whatever the thing that they're interested in. And that means the former life of the Buddha, he the one that who encouraged all the things, and he was the last one to make the vow, and he make 500 vow, and every one of the vow always he want to be born into the 5 evil world. That's the world we are live right now, to benefit the sentient being. Because most of the Bodhisattva, they make the vow to they choose the environment is less evil, so they can be able to practice the Bodhisattva way. And but the former life of the Sakyamuni Buddha, he always want to appear in the evil world to practice the Bodhisattva and save the living being. And that's shaking me so much. So now you understand the shaking, right? It means that means in here a lot of people experience the shaking. That's what is shaking. That's why they gathering there to hear the Dharma. They hear the lecture from this sutra. That means if we happen to read any kind of sutra and we have that kind of emotionally shaking, that means in the past you have a very strong affinity or connection with the sutra in the past life, or with that kind of teaching. It's important. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know this isn't the same, but right before we just started this class, I just came home and I had been out with the kids all day, and I just was laying down trying to calm down, like rest, and that's exactly what I just said. I said, feel like my body's just shaking. I think it's just from being around so many people and so much energy and so much noise and everything. But that's exactly what I was saying. I was like, my body just feels like it's shaking. And that's why I made sure I joined today, because I know listening to the Dharma and stuff will help me calm back down. But I know it's different, but it's just interesting that it's the same kind of like feeling I was having earlier.
Well, it's another way you can see it when you benefit, when you be able to benefit from the Dharma. That means by this by learning the Dharma, learning the Sutra, and you be able to benefit them. That means you the emotionally, right, physically, it changed. That means it's before, when we are around with the people, we are a little bit hyper, and we are a little bit we cannot control our own physical body. But now we in the same environment, but we be able to stay calm. That is a big change, right? It's not easy. Yeah, that is another shaking, right?
Yeah, and I was so much more relaxed today. Usually I can't handle being those places, but I was really relaxed and everything until and calm and let the patient with the kids doing whatever, not trying to rush them through everything. But then when I got home, I was all just shaking.
Right. Last week we on Sunday we learned about the Assad king. Remember William? He was the one that he said that the Buddha said that you going to destroy the defilement of all being. Remember that? And the statue said that if I be able to do that, to destroy all the defilement of all being, even though I've been the hell, right? Even though I'm stay in the hell for a long time, it's not a pain to me. It's still not a pain to me. And the way I share it, a VG hell, that is the most offensive hell in the Earth Store Sutra. Well, you don't have to wait until we die, we go to hell. No, we look at let's say that in the family, right? We live in the environment is very violent, very very violent and crowded, and and
Thầy cần cái key để mở cái phòng đó,
không gì con,
phòng của thầy có cần đạt đó.
nó làm gì
Mở cái key, cần cái key để mở cái phòng của thầy.
mà con tính lấy gì trong đó?
Dạ không thầy cần, con không có cần.
Okay. Okay. So basically, it's if we live in that very afflictional environment, right? Let's say in the family, the sibling keep fighting among the sibling, and we are one of them, right? This is the hell on earth, right? Is that true? And we cannot be able to say that I don't want to live with you, or it's not easy. Somehow we cannot depart from them because the affinity it holds us into it, and it's not easy to the
Cái key đó thầy để key vô cái board đó. Thầy có hình đạt không biết ở đâu.
Okay, can you wait for me a few minutes?
William, I just put the website in the chat for the stupa.
Yeah, I saw that pop up. The contemplative
If you-
garden.
Yeah, check it out sometime. And we'll have the address too if you ever want to stop by.
Okay.
Okay, sorry for it. Okay, so basically so it hell on earth, right? We cannot easily depart from that. We cannot easily run away from it, right? Usually, if we do not understand the Dharma, and we will go with the reaction, right? That is the worst thing. When we go with the reaction, we play a very negative affinity with our loved one. And that will put us down, and we will suffer that light in hell even more. But if we understand the Dharma, I mean the Mahayana Sutra, not the Theravada, because Theravada you cannot be able to have the vast mind, not easily to let go. Okay, so then yes, physically we still with them. We physically in the hell environment, but mentally on the mind state, we are not, because we easily let go. And we still have a loving kindness and compassion toward them. And we still try to find a way to lessen the suffering that they have. Eventually, we try to resolve in the peaceful way, in the positive affinity. This is important. So that's why the king said that, yes, if I be able to destroy the defilement of all being, yeah, I'd rather stay in the hell for a long time. But it's not a pain. That's what he said. This is important because that helps us to develop the bodhicitta. That helps us to practice the patience. So they are the one we should be grateful, not the one that we should hate them. No. So when you have a different perspective view, right, then the outcome will be different. Right, Tammy?
Yes, I mean, I noticed that today, that everybody seemed so nice and pleasant. Like everybody was smiling and, kids were being kind to each other. And it just was kind of completely different than what I used to experience before. So yeah, for
Wow,
sure. Yeah, I mean,
wonderful.
it was amazing. Yeah, completely different.
And one thing that we never have the mentality to change order. No. If we have that mentality to change order, we suffer. We change ourselves, don't change order. Once we change ourselves, eventually they will change. Okay, they will change. So that's why it's very important, and this is a very rough path to walk. But when we understand the sutra thoroughly and we know how to apply to our life, then the benefit is beyond word. This is the excellent teaching of the Mahayana Sutra. Right, William? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in the past, when you not attend this class, you don't know much about the Mahayana teaching, right?
I started through Zen. And so Zen is, grounded in the Mahayana, but I hadn't studied a lot of sutras. When I was maybe 14, I read the Lotus Sutra for the first time.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was it was kind of like someone who didn't know how to swim being in the ocean. Like there's dragons and there's towers coming up from the ground. Like I just had I couldn't understand it.
You in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the Vietnamese temple I went to, I would learn bits from the sutras, but then when I went to Talmage at the City of 10,000 Buddhas back in the beginning of, like, at the end of, right before I went to high school, I got a bunch of sutras there. My mom bought me a bunch. So I had the Prajnaparamita, the Earth Store Bodhisattva, the Amitabha Buddha Speaks the Pure
Oh,
Land.
okay. Wow.
Then the sutra in 42 parts, I think, is more Theravada. And I think I had an abridged version of the commentary. I think Master Swanhua's commentary of the flower adornment. Like a
Okay.
small, it wasn't a big book. I have to go back and look at that one. So I'd read those back then, but I really resonated with the six patriarchs.
Okay.
That's the one I focused the most on. It was the most relatable for me.
Yeah, because the Zen tradition, they don't recite the sutra, but they also they do learn the sutra. Okay.
Since
But
doing this class, I've had way more exposure. Like, actually, yeah, since doing the class with you and with Tikong Dots, I've had way more exposure to the Mahayana Sutras. I had no idea there were so many.
mhm. And that's why in order to have the right view and right contemplation, if we don't have a chance to learn the sutra, you will not be able to have the right view and right contemplation. Because nowadays a lot of the temple nearby by our temple, there were two nuns, right? And they are the one that practice the meditation. And they you know what? They inside the temple, they don't have any Buddha status, but they have a circle. And they claim themselves as the enlightenment, as the enlightened one. When you hear that, what do you think?
Yeah, generally, people who are enlightened don't go around saying they're enlightened, is my understanding.
Yeah.
If someone's going to say you're enlightened, it's going to be your Dharma master. If you have an enlightened master, they'll acknowledge your realization. But we're never meant to go around saying that we've attained something. And it's generally to get something from other people if we are doing it, because there's still really that mark of self on that. If we're saying I am enlightened, then it's, well, generally people are still attached to self if they're claiming that.
Right. They do a lot of crazy things. They sell things. They sell candle. They sell ticket for I don't know what is that. But anyway, they also one of the niece of one of the lay people person here. They just came from Vietnam, right? Only a month and a half. And you know what? She happened to go into this temple. She's only 10th grade, 11th grade. And you know what? Only the first day. And she already attached to this nun so much. And you know what? The nuns told her that if you want to learn Dharma with me in 6 day retreat, you have to pay me $500 to obtain the retreat for 6 days, and $25 for the uniform. And also, if you come late, you pay another $50. If you are the enlightened one, do you think you do this thing?
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, there may be some like nuance in certain areas, but that example seems really obviously wrong. I mean, if you're going away to a Zen retreat and they're supplying you with food and a place to sleep, it makes sense that there's going to be some small expense that they would ask for. But you know, at the Rochester Zen Center in Rochester, New York, where Jeanette, is it Jeanette Paris from what was her name? She came
She's
the
a Zen priest now. She's
yeah,
a Zen priest now. Did you see
she
she's
has
been
a place
ordained?
in Kentucky. Yeah, she has a center in Kentucky. So she went to Rochester, learned from Roshi Bowden Kolheed. They do like $50 a day to cover basic expenses when you go there for sesshin. And that's pretty darn inexpensive for, like, if you go anywhere and you want to eat 3 meals a day, you're going to spend at least $50. And if you want some place to sleep too. So there's like some, but $500 for 6 days, that does seem a little excessive. I know, like, if the Dalai Lama is doing lectures and you want to buy tickets, you do have to pay for the tickets to attend his lectures, but he has a huge, like, when he came to Indiana University, he had a huge stadium. And so they don't let him speak in that stadium for free. So somehow they have to cover the costs of tickets. But there was like a Tibetan group. They have theirs is called like the city of 1,000 Buddhas instead of 10,000 Buddhas. They're out in, I forget, like Wyoming, and I'd somehow seen their stuff and was a little interested. But then when I saw if I wanted to attend an online workshop, they were charging money for an online workshop where they have really literally no expense. You're just logging in, and it was there was no reason they needed to charge given it was online. So yeah, those are always red flags for me, is like, what, you know, where's their motivation at? Are they trying to make money, or are they just trying to cover costs? But ideally they have the resources to not charge anybody anything. I know that's what the teachings of the Buddha say, to not charge for the Dharma.
So the reason is because the parent and the children, they just come from Vietnam only 1.5 months in the U.S. And when the girl came back, told the mom, and the mom alert to the aunt, right? That means the aunt who is the one who hosts them in their house, right? For them to stay in their house. And she the one who usually go to our temple, and she know that we never charge anything. Even we teach the after school program. We have summer camp. We have everything. We never charge anything at all. Sometimes we have to hire the tutor to teach free for the kid as well. Because the whole idea, we want them to be able to learn Buddhism, even though after school program is not really directly teaching them the Buddhism, but use that as the means to help them to go into Buddhism. So yeah, we willing to pay for whatever the cost is, help them to learn the Buddhist teaching. And you know what? When they call us and they talk about this, and because I heard about this temple already, and whenever you hear someone say that I'm the enlightened one or I'm the Buddha, oh, run away from them. Don't ever get near them, because this is not how Buddhism works. Okay, if anyone say that I'm the Arhat or the Buddha or the enlightened one, stay away from them, because they are not the when someone says that means they are way behind. Okay, they are not the one, and the one is truly, they never say anything about that. That is the true one. And that true one, you cannot easily find it. Even though they appear in front of you, you cannot be able to recognize them. That is the true cultivator. This one is tough to find. It's not easy. But if we have affinity with them, we will be able to meet them. But even though they're so in front of you, you will not be able to recognize them. That is the one that we need to learn from them. Not the one said that I'm the enlightened one. Forget you. Okay, all right. Anything else that we okay, all right, William. I think you can go to the next one. Okay.
Now, while we are lecturing the Flower Adornment Sutra, the earth may quake in 6 different ways, or various other kinds of things could happen. I'm telling you in advance so that if the earth quakes, you won't be afraid. That is because when the great means expansive Buddha Flower Adornment Sutra is lectured, the earth trembles and quakes in 6 different ways. They can only be minor, not severe, earthquakes, because the good Dharma protecting spirits are protecting the Dharma assembly. Even then, there are also demon kings who come to trouble the Dharma assembly. And so, when, as regularly happens, people come and pound on the door, you should not move your minds. The Flower Adornment Sutra should be lectured with one's mind in samadhi, which is how Shakyamuni Buddha spoke it. And all the bodhisattvas listened to the sutra with their minds in samadhi. It was in samadhi that the Dharma was spoken. So if something unusual should happen, none of you should be afraid. There may be nothing. It's not fixed. There is no fixed Dharma. So here, this is who's speaking right now? Who's giving this lecture? Like whose voice is this in?
I think this is the one of the lecture.
Is okay, so it's a Buddhist master.
Yeah,
who's
this is the Dharma
giving this
master.
lecture.
This is not the. I think maybe this is the Master Sanhua. Maybe I'm not too sure.
It sounds like the way Master Swanhua is usually translated, because
Yeah.
he this is how the other sutras he comments on. He has this very like matter of fact, straightforward way of speaking.
Yeah.
And it really does sound like the other sutras I've read with his
Yeah, that's right.
commentary.
That's right.
So he's saying that, you know, during the lecturing, like there could be auspicious events like the earth shaking, or there could be unusual events like people pounding on the door. But that the ideal is that the sutra is lectured in a state of samadhi, of this meditative absorption, and then it's listened to in that same state. So not to have any fear if there are any unusual events, but just to have faith in the Dharma protecting spirits and the power of the Buddha.
Okay, in here they said that because this is the first sutra the Buddha spoke, right? After he attended the Buddha in the Buddhahood, he spoke for 21 days, and his audience is the great Bodhisattva, not for us, not for Arahat, for the great Bodhisattva, and they are listen the lecture the Dharma in the samadhi. That is that means they are in samadhi, include the Buddha. So this so that's why when this thing happened, the shaking it's normal. So there's nothing to fear, because in Buddhism that is a good sign. If we can experience the shaking, that is a good sign. So nothing to be afraid of. And when we sincerely recite the sutra, actually the invisible being, they also attend, or even the heaven being, right? They even attend the recitation. So that is a good sign. So they're nothing to afraid. Okay, tell me.
Some people are bringing up a further problem, saying it is impossible for the place where this sutra is being lectured to have an earthquake, because for a good many years now, Dharma Master, you have been telling us that the San Francisco cannot have an earthquake, that as long as you are in San Francisco, there will be no earthquake, or if there are any, they will be very slight. If there is an earthquake this year, won't that be a case of contradiction between what was said before and afterwards not bad, it would be very contradictory. However, telling it not to quake when it is time for it to quake, and telling it to quake when it's not time for it to quake, is a case of there being no fixed dharma. As it happens, one of my disciples called me on the phone a few days ago and questioned me that evening, saying, "Everyone says there's going to be an earthquake in New York tomorrow. If there's certain to be an earthquake, then I'll come back soon. If there's not going to be an earthquake, then I'll wait until the 5th or 6th of next month." When I first replied to her, I said, "I don't know, because right now I'm not in New York and I don't know what's happening in New York." After we had talked a couple of minutes more, she asked again and said, "What about it?" I said, "It's not serious. Don't be afraid. If the earth quakes, it quakes. What are you paying attention? What are you paying attention to that?" Now I read in the papers that there was no earthquake in New York, so the matter has passed. Now, if we have an earthquake in San Francisco, it's not serious, so don't be afraid. While we are lecturing the great means expansive Buddha Flower Dormant Sutra, perhaps some kind of inconceivable state may manifest.
Yeah, so what do you understand here?
So they're saying that
This the Dharma Master Sangkwan, okay? Because
yeah,
he
so
lived
it's
in San Francisco.
yeah, and that threw me off. Because I'm like, San Francisco in the sutra, what? So they're saying that there's not supposed to be any earthquakes in San Francisco. So it's a contradictory statement to say that there was an earthquake when the sutra was spoken, lectured, because it's not supposed to be possible. And then they go back to New York saying there's supposed to be an earthquake in New York and they're concerned. But in the end, he's saying if there's going to be one, there's going to be one. Don't worry about it either way, is what. But when lecturing the Flower Dormant Sutra, that it is there could be some kind of inconceivable state manifested.
Yeah, so because Master Zhenghua, he in San Francisco in 1961, and I think the first time he I don't know when he said that if as long as I'm here, there ain't no earthquake. Because
Okay.
California usually they have earthquake.
Yeah, that's what I understand, because that's known. They're known for earthquakes.
Okay, so most of the year he stay there. They only one time they quake. They a big earthquake in 1989. I think they a big earthquake because at that moment he were in Taiwan, and that's kind of quake, but it's not too serious. But it quake, and the people asked him why quake when you hear, and he said that at that moment I were in Taiwan. So basically, the reason is the earthquake not only due to the weather, but in Buddhism view, it also due to the invisible being, like the dragon, right? Or like other being, it also involved in the quake as well. So that's why when we discuss about the Mahayana Sutra, and due to that virtue, so the Dharma protector, they will not allow that happen during that period. That's why there are a lot of auspicious side, that means the good side. It happened during the Dharma being lecture. It's important. So not only the Dharma flower, but most of the Mahayana Sutra, even though there, I remember one time that in the one of the story in China, because China they have a lot of small country during that time, and they fight each other a lot. One time, one of the Dharma master, he doing the lecture of the one of the sutra for many months, and during that time, one of the country he lectured been invaded by the outside force, and he said to the to everyone that if I'm because from the Buddha said that if anyone who preaching the Mahayana Sutra, there will not be any invasion to the country. And he said that if that's the case, then he continue on doing this. And you know what? That invasion is not occur. I think it's somehow the reason is the invasion when we come in, there were the protector Dharma. That means the invisible being. They manifest into one of the big being to make the enemy afraid and they retreat from the invasion. Does that make sense to you? Even though to us we don't see it, but that happened behind the scene. This is not easy to prove by science. If you ask me to prove by science, I cannot do it. That's why lecture the Mahayana Sutra is not only for the living the being, that means the assembly in front of us, but also for the invisible being. Invisible being include the Dharma protector as well as the heaven being, as well as the spirit, as well as order, right? This is important. And they are the one who will not allow those bad things happen during this time. Because they are the one who vow to protect the Buddha teaching, the Dharma. Okay. Let us do maybe these two more, and we can stop. Sorry.
In the past, during the Peichi period, the third son of the emperor went to Wutai Mountain, 5-peak mountain, to burn his body as an offering to Manjusri Bodhisattva. On that occasion, there was among his escorts a eunuch by the name of Liu Qian, who, upon seeing the emperor's son, decided to burn himself as an offering to the Bodhisattva Manjusri. Sought the emperor's permission to leave home himself. The emperor granted his request, and after he had left home, he devoted himself to reading and reciting the Flower Adornment Sutra. He was particularly sincere and was vigorous day and night, seeking some kind of response. After he had cultivated for a certain time, his beard began to grow. Basically, eunuchs do not have beards, but as he cultivated, his beard started to grow, and he had all the masculine characteristics which eunuchs lack. After that, he opened enlightenment and went on to write the Flower Adornment Treatise. Upon completing it, he died with no illness. So here it's talking about the third son of an emperor during the Peichi period, who had determined to burn himself as an offering to Manjusri Bodhisattva on a particular mountain, 5-peak mountain. And a eunuch that traveled with him, this was a pretty common practice in China at that time to create eunuchs, which involved removing the genitals, including the testicles. He was so inspired by the emperor's son's determination that he asked the emperor if he could become a monk. And the emperor gave him permission, and he devoted himself to reading and reciting the Flower Adornment Sutra. And he was just very intent on that. He was very diligent in his practice. And it resulted in this sort of miraculous change where he began to exhibit the masculine characteristics that eunuchs lack because of their lack of testosterone, because they don't have testicles to create it. So that would really be a sort of inexplicable phenomena And then he became enlightened and wrote a treatise on the Flower Adornment Sutra, explaining it, and died right after he finished it without any illness. And I know there is talk in Buddhism about eunuchs, and one of the Bodhisattva precepts, as I recall, instructs us not to be friends with eunuchs, not to be close friends with people who are, I think maybe they refer to them as unmanly men in the translation that came out of the City of 10,000 Buddhas of the Brahmanet Sutra.
Which one was that? Which one was that?
The Brahmanet Sutra,
Ramana Sutra. Okay.
one of the precepts listed in
The
there.
Bodhisattva precept.
Yeah, they say not to be close friends with eunuchs.
Where unit? Unit is that the one that they have that means no gender.
Yeah, at a very young age, before they go into puberty, their genitals are removed, so they never develop masculine characteristics.
Okay. But due to his sincerity, right? Everything it happened.
Yeah, so I wasn't even sure if they would allow eunuchs to become monks.
No, I don't think so.
So he left the home life, but maybe he didn't actually get ordained as a monk. Maybe he just lived in the forests or lived by his own doing this.
Could be. Yeah, that could be. Maybe because he was inspired by the emperor, the third son, right? Burn his body to as an offer to the Manchuria Bodhisattva. That inspired him to invite this man here to reading, left home and reading and reciting this sutra, and vigorously. That's how it happened, and everything could happen. Good. All right, we can stop right here. Okay, tell me.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share their fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see, hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts
Oh, sorry.
because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, everyone. So tomorrow, and maybe next week we on Saturday we do not have the meeting because we have the whole week summer camp for the kids. But the Sunday is still okay because we only do half a day on Sunday.
Okay.
I think tomorrow Sunday maybe hopefully I still be able to do it. Otherwise I will let you know.
Good luck
Okay.
with your summer camp.
Okay, huh?
Good luck with your summer camp.
Oh,
I know it's
okay,
a lot.
thank you. Well,